you're so
Tell me,
lazy.
tell me, what's the issue with your family internet? You're not able to pay your bills. फिर मैं जो डकैती करो तुम लोग कुछ तो करो.
We
You know what
need
I
we
told?
need
Hey, by the way, this bugger Sandip Ghosh would love it because he's on the opposite camp. So that day I
oh
called up the Vodafone head. I said, boss,
huh.
suno, shall I send 6, 7 young
We
boys
are
to
live
Kumar
by the
Mangalam?
way. We are
Okay,
live
okay.
by the way. Just before you start. Okay,
Good
hello
evening.
everybody. Welcome to the Sunday Club on a Tuesday evening. And familiar faces don't need introduction, so I'm not going to waste time. But
Ajay
let's
is not
get
that
right
familiar.
to it.
Introduce him.
Suhel said,
Ajay is not that
Suhel's
familiar.
I've become
familiar
old
now.
and jaded at her show, so it's okay. Her audiences are used to me now.
Yes,
Yeah,
Advaita,
you
how
want.
can we help you today
I
again?
want to know. I want to know before we start on the other topic. I want to know about the backstage stuff at the Ambani soiree this weekend. So
Ah,
he'll
So
say it.
let me tell you. So there are 3 or 4 things that I want to park. Number one, Anand Ambani, and I've known him since he was about 2 years old or 3 years old. That boy, now man, is just one of the finest and most exceptional human beings you will ever meet.
That
The
boy.
level of compassion, the level of intellect, the level of perseverance, and most importantly, the attention to detail is frighteningly heartwarming. What happened, and Advaita, I will say this to you, is everyone was treated the same way. No matter who you were, what your calling was, what your status was, how much money you had, once you entered, everyone was treated in the same warm, endearing, affection laced manner. And that is what was so heartwarming. I'll tell you something. It's very interesting. Huh? There are jokers in Delhi who have weddings. If they invite 1.5 politicians, including a retired bureaucrat, they'll cordon it off. They will say that,
Mm,
oh, some VIPs are coming. There was no cordoning. There was nothing. You ate the same food. You met the same people. You partook of the same occasion, the same festivities. So, in that sense, that was one. Number two, the Bharatiyata and the sheer manner of putting India first and putting our culture, our Sanskriti, our our sanskar. It was just it was just unbelievable, and that to my mind was something that I found heartwarming because nowadays all weddings here have become these stylish Western things, where the bride comes dancing into this thing to rap music and all of that. None of this was happening. The third, and this is the most important thing, is that every member of the family looked after every guest. So it's not that you came here or you attended the event and you were left to your own devices. No, they would ask you, uh, you know, oh, have you eaten? Is everything fine? Is your accommodation good? I mean, that's the attention to detail. But that, more
mm,
importantly, is also the attention to affection. So I think it was a great a weekend. It was a very warm and embracing weekend. It wasn't many people have put out stories on social media and all, and only use the celebrity angle. You've seen they were their oldest employees. There were people who are from Jamnagar. The way they looked after the support staff, the way they looked after every member. I'm telling you, Advaita, whether you were a guest, whether you were serving, whatever you were doing, that level.
mm,
And see, to be honest, I've known Mukesh now for over 40 years, and I've never seen that change in him or in Nita or in the kids. People often ask me, how are the kids? I say they're the most down to earth children you will ever meet. And each one of them. And what is great is they've also married well. So whether it's Shloka, who's Akash's wife, or Anand, who's Isha's husband, and now Radhika, who's married Anand, the kids have been brought up in a way कि भाई there is no entitlement. आप
mm.
जो हो आप हो जितना आपके पास है वो आपके पास है, पर आप में प्यार करने की जो क्षमता है और प्यार करने का जो तरीका है वो कभी नहीं बदला. एंड दैट्स इंपॉर्टेंट. एंड लेट मी टेल यू, a Bill Gates doesn't need to attend an Amani wedding, but you know the way they would. So I mean, I'll just give you some perspective. I knew about it around December, and then January I was told, these are the things. And my wife Lakshmi couldn't come because she was in Paris. The first thing we asked,
What? He's vanished.
That's
Where
what
Oh
was
happens
well.
when
he?
you.
Was he at the airport or what? Is he walking in the
No, he's
airport?
um,
in Goa. Okay, he's
yeah,
back.
I'm
You're back.
walking. I'm unlike you, who's walking to nowhere. I'm walking to the aircraft. And stop interrupting, you little hilly billy. Why he
Who?
walking? Why he's walking? This
Hilly
Pallavi
Billy?
Ghosh. Why he
You're calling
walking?
her a
Why?
Hilly Billy. Okay.
I
Yeah.
said,
So what?
Suhail, nice to hear from you. How are you, Suhail? Okay, there he's gone. Let's be
He's
nice
just
to each other.
actually he was telling us about the Ambani soiree, and I know for a fact
Yeah.
that he was the fufaji at the wedding or the pre-wedding. So right now he's trying to be all like pleasant and all, but there he must have been the fufaji. That's why everyone had to be nice to him.
I guess his audio is muted and he doesn't
Yeah.
realize.
No, his audio
Oh,
is not muted, but we can't hear him.
he can hear
Yeah.
everything. See, that's the
He can hear
problem. He can hear
everything, but we
everything.
can't hear him, and so
And
this is
thank God for
amazing.
and thank God for a change. We can't hear him, so it's fine.
Don't say
Suhail,
it
you
But
need
aloud.
to
I,
log out and come back
Don't you say
because
it
you
aloud,
can't.
Pallavi. He'll come back haunting, even in your
oh
dreams.
God, and he sings so badly. How can Abhijit, think that he sings better than the way I talk on TV? Horrible.
And
Anyway.
horrible. But we'll wait for Suhail to come back. He was actually giving us like really good
Yeah. So
insight
that was
into the
a great
celebrations.
first-hand account. That's
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I just think, I mean, I don't know. I saw some of their functions, especially the puja part and everything, and they really follow through on all aspects. Really, I mean, I thought that was incredible. I
Dark,
like that kid, yeah.
cynical woman. Pallavi
What?
is cynical, bitter, ever since the Congress told her to take a walk.
I
Otherwise, she
told
was
you na.
always nice. ये Pallavi Ghosh
See,
को from Sandesh, she has turned into poison. What a good girl she was, well brought up, Bengali, had all the right values. Today you see her, there's bitterness, a rush to escape. That's why she's always in a car.
but Suhail, why are
She's
you
always in
walking?
a
You're
car.
the one
She's
who're walking to
escaping.
nowhere. You
No,
actually,
darling,
Suhail, remind me of
I'm
Rahul
walking
Gandhi.
here. I'm walking to the aircraft, and as always, I'm on one Charlie, just so that you know where
Where
I'm
are
I'll
you
be.
heading?
thinking
Suhail?
you are
Where are
like
you
the
heading?
Rahul Gandhi. You're walking to
I'm,
nowhere.
I'm, that was my line, by the way. I'm actually going from Goa Mopa to Delhi.
Oh, good. We'll see you in Delhi, Suhail. Frozen again.
I guess he's
Okay,
not
so yeah, so
frozen in.
Many
I'll wrap up
events, many
the Ambani
functions,
story.
you know, which include royalty, which include all of that. But hello,
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, we are listening. Yes, Pupaji, we are listening.
hello.
Pupaji, we are listening. Okay. Okay, let me just wrap this up on the Ambani soiree. I think that kid is a good kid, Anant Ambani. I think he's a good sort, and he's doing some really good work. So that's my kind of note on that event. But moving on, somebody who's not really doing a good job is Rahul Gandhi. He seems to be losing it with reporters on a regular basis, identifying them, targeting them, and then he has a mic in his hand, so it's anyway not an even platform. And questioning them. And I want to ask you, Pallavi, because Yeah, I want to ask you, Pallavi, because you said that it's getting like really. I don't know if you said it, someone else said it, but it's getting kind of toxic for the media, right? To be around him.
So I was there in Amethi when both those two incidents happened. The first one, I remember it was he was starting from Amethi towards Raebareli, where there was this stringer. Okay, there's a local boy. There are those local Amethi ka boy, and they do these, like, they take these sound bites and visuals and they kind of sell it off to every channels, and they don't earn much in a month. I don't think they earn more than 10 to 15,000 rupees, frankly speaking. And and I remember he just put his mic there. Then Rahul Gandhi just started screaming at him that "Aapka Malik kaun hai?" And of course, that didn't go down well. And of course, the BJP made it out to be like, he's a Yadav. He was some Yadav, that, you're anti-Yadav, and what is Akhilesh going to say? And, that was when the alliance had just about to be finalized and so on and so forth. I mean, the Congress later on went into this whole damage control, and they said, no, 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 that's not what he was asking, and this and that. Whoa, he was just generally not even, it was not an attack on the stringer. But again, we saw him, the one he was talking to the BBC guy, again shouting and screaming to Malik Kona. At least BBC is a foreign owned channel. They are little better than the Desi channels. And most of the times he's screaming at people who are beat reporters, who are expected to go and cover his yatra. See, on one hand, to a certain extent, I can understand that, very often maybe we are a little unfair and we don't show them much. So that grievance is there. But on the other hand, they accuse us of not covering Rahul Gandhi's events or not going for the yatra. But then when you go, this is what happens. You're screamed at. And I know a lot of reporters who are saying that, we are really scared, because what happens is that वो सबको publicly कुछ बोलेगा, and these becomes memes, it goes viral on social media, and it becomes very embarrassing for us when we go back home, because people start taking pot shots at us, our neighbors, our friends. They make fun of us. देखो तुमको डांट पड़ी, देखो तुमको ऐसे बोला, वैसे बोला, ये वो हुआ. I don't understand why he's angry. I mean, we cannot be blamed for the Congress party not covering his yatra. See, on one hand, there are lots of Congress leaders. In fact, the bulk of the Congress leaders are actually very, very nice. I mean, they're very nice to the media. They talk to us so nicely. They bear no rancor, but I don't understand why he's angry. I mean, we cannot be blamed for the Congress party not covering his yatra. I don't know, yeah. In front of Rahul Gandhi, I guess you have to defend him. But in front of Rahul Gandhi, I guess you have to defend him. And
I think
the
it
worst
was.
part is, I remember I went for the press conference, and when he was there, and again he said something like this to a reporter, and they're cackling. There's a code of management, and they're all laughing. They're finding it like really funny and cool what he has said. And he's most of the time saying this to beat reporters, which is what I have a problem with. And many of them have been covering it for years. And he's most of the time saying this to beat reporters.
Yeah, yeah, right. Okay, so she's out as well. That was getting troublesome. Let's get back to this conversation. Ajay, I mean, you're a veteran journalist. And how are you? I mean, has this happened before where such a senior political leader is constantly kind of on this attack mode with journalists, identifying them, publicly humiliating them?
No, not really. As a matter of fact, I guess Rahul Gandhi is an example of his own, and I would rather say that he is an example of what he has been turned into. My interactions with Congress leaders and that of Mr. Rahul Gandhi prior to his becoming so inaccessible that even beat reporters are unable to speak to him were at a very different plane and a different nature. I mean, I would recall days of 2003, 2004, when he was trying to campaign and then he won his first Lok Sabha elections. He was a different human, a different individual altogether. But it seems the recurrent uh, losses that the Congress party has been facing, and somehow, if I were to just put it back, and Pallavi will bear me on this, the angry young man image that he tried to cultivate during Manmohan Singh's tenure, when you saw him going for padyatras, when you saw him tearing off the ordinance, these are all ways in which he wanted to, or his advisors wanted to project an image of Rahul Gandhi who's angry with the system. It seems that they were still living in the 70s of the Bollywood. And the angry young man of Amitabh was being cultivated again to somehow capture the imagination of the common masses. That virtually resulting into a kind of a situation where today the Congress feels that they're very disadvantaged because the coverage, especially on television, is minuscule when compared to what they anticipated to be. Now, this frustration should also be looked inwards as to why the coverage has also come down. There is a shelf life to the beating that the Congress can also get, by the way. How much can you talk about a party which is failing at the hastings all the time, making mistakes which is incorrigible, creating situations where the party itself is axing its own foot? I mean, Kalidas seems like a saint in front of the Congress party and Rahul Gandhi. So let's face facts. It's the frustration and the image that is being tried to cultivate around him, that he's a hands-on guy, will not tolerate any nonsense. All the reporters are sold out. The media is completely sold out. Should be blacked out. Please tell me, why shouldn't the BJP ever blacklist anchors or hosts or YouTubers who are so-called anti-BJP? It is the Congress which comes up with an idea that blacklist 14 television people. Why do you need to say that, oh, we will not go and participate in discussions because we are not given opportune time to put our points across? So this all leads to the fact that A, you undervalue the people who are giving you opportunities to put your point across. B, you're blaming others for your own failures. And lastly, you want to project an image which you cannot substantiate. So Rahul Gandhi is
Right.
actually making a mess of himself, nothing more.
Yeah. Sandeep, he's certainly not had it as bad as the Prime Minister's had it. And the Prime Minister had it bad for over a decade. And not only had it bad, but in terms of, if you can say that Rahul Gandhi's events, etc., get ignored, in the case of the Prime Minister, he was targeted. I mean, there were like meters put on television, on newspapers that tracked him, and hate meters and this and that and the other. He was singularly targeted. Rahul Gandhi is being ignored, yes, to a large extent. But the Prime Minister was targeted. So, I mean, I don't understand why this sense of entitlement where you take it out on the little guy because you're feeling this impotence.
See, this entire, especially this Bharat Jodo Nyaya Yatra, as it's called, or Bharat Jodo Yatra 2.0, I'm very intrigued by the entire communication exercise. At least in the first part, there was some kind of an uh, coordinated effort of the entire Congress machinery, their PR machinery, their political machinery. You had different party leaders, state level leaders walking with him. There were other persona, whether for photo op people dropping by, and there was some kind of you know, a coordinated message trying to be spread, and people seemed by and large on the same page. There could be some people who went off track, Digvijay Singh saying something and Jairam Ramesh, pulling him back or cutting him out, those sort of things. But the whole set of people were communicating on the same page. Now, on this round, I don't know who is. Maybe I'm missing out. I don't see everything. Other than I can count on my fingers 3 people who are talking. It is Rahul Gandhi, it is Jairam Ramesh, and to some extent, the other two spokespersons, Supriya Srinate and Pavan, from time to time,
Thank you.
Khera. And these are the 4 people, if at all anybody who one hears. Other than, even if you look at social media, I don't see the Congress social media entire cell being that active. There is an odd stray people from the youth congress or whatever, they are tweeting or retweeting certain things which he has said over there. So this seems to be a very isolated exercise being done by a very small coterie, and it's not resonating or neither being amplified by any other sections of the party, including top leaders, whether you talk about Kharge or Tharoor. Okay, Tharoor may not be in mainstream, but anybody else, even state level leaders who are supposedly part of this current access of, Rahul, Priyanka, whatever, was Bhupesh Baghel or others. There's no, I'm not seeing at all any, if really speaking, let's say they see this media coverage as an issue. And if Gandhi is making that a point, just like you see happening in BJP or any other party, the leader makes a point and everybody takes the cue from there and orchestrates it, amplifies it. Here, you're not finding any of that happening. All that is happening is you'll find maybe Shrupriya Srinate coming on television trying to defend this statement of Rahul Gandhi, saying that, oh, he did it right by pulling up this particular journalist whom, Stringer, whom Pallavi was referring to. So, what's really the exercise? Or even this time round, you see this whole trip to Cambridge. Unlike the previous time when there was a lot of play given by the party machinery, the communication cell to what was happening in Cambridge, this time it was a very isolated event. What made more news about was this showing him boarding the flight and returning. Those pictures, and there's some, stills shared from that place, but otherwise, no news. So, who are they addressing? What are they talking about? And so, I'm not even getting into the merits of his argument, what he's telling today about Agniveer or what he was talking about, some other stuff. I want to stop caring about the sanity or the coherence of those arguments, but I don't know what is really being achieved. What is the end purpose? What is the game he's playing? I'm totally flummoxed, and that's where maybe Pallavi can throw some light, because not just from her overall observation, but she must be also picking up
No,
from
what
her
you've
other.
said is, Sandeep, also an Pallavi, you tweeted something the other day about a lot of Congress leaders not wanting to fight elections and, saying that in private and not really wanting to come out. Do you think, and now juxtaposing that with Sandeep's observation about how social media, the way a party should be active on social media, should be aggressive, we're not seeing that. We're not seeing that amplification which you would expect even from the Congress party members. Is this a party who's tossed in the towel for 2024? And, they're just not going to come out and say it, but everything that they're doing, actions speak louder than words. They're not really all in there.
As far as the social media is concerned, see, I mean, there is a WhatsApp group, and we do get those social media posts of the Congress party. So, but there's a difference. See, now, for example, both the BJP and INC have their own social media handles, the official ones, and they both push out data or they push out nice memes or animations taking pot shots. In the BJP, what I notice is that almost it's like it's a queue, and they're obviously told. So if the BJP social media handle comes out with some kind of a promo or some kind of an animation, suddenly you'll find all ministers, other senior leaders are also pushing it, tweeting it from their personal handles. In the Congress party, the difference is that some of them are really smart, but I don't find, apart from, say, a Supriya Srinate or a Jairam Ramesh occasionally or a Pavan Khera, pushing it beyond the point of time. It's as if the rest of the party is very reluctant to push it. That's the perception which goes out. That teamwork is not there. In fact, I remember someone was telling me a long time back, they have a WhatsApp group, okay? So they have all the senior leaders and all of them in that WhatsApp group. So something comes in the morning that, okay, this is what we have to push through the day. Only a handful of them do it. Others don't even bother to do it. In the BJP, it's different. In the BJP, if the line comes in the morning that this is the agenda, this is what you have to push, you'll find ministers, spokespersons, they'll keep on tweeting, they keep on trying to make it trend. And mind you, it's not that the Congress is bad. I find many of the social media posts little funny and very witty, but you also need to push it. That's one. The second thing is something which I always notice is they push Rahul Gandhi more than they push the Congress president. I mean, he's your Congress president. You've tried to make the point that unlike the BJP, we've chosen someone, we've elected someone. I don't find Kharge's post being pushed as aggressively as, say, Rahul Gandhi's Bharat Jodo Yatra goes. Third, I've always found it a problem. It's increased it even further, the lack of communication. It likes to be secret, okay? Secretive. Earlier, what used to happen is, and I'm talking about 10 years back, is that, there were always debriefing sessions, or there would be someone who will give you khabar and damage control kind of a khabar. Abhi, there is very little damage control kind of cover. There is a debriefing session which takes place occasionally, but that damage control when things are going out of hand, usko liye they don't. They don't even bother. They'll say, so what? So be it. Like today, Rahul Gandhi's comments on that Ram, Jai Shri Ram on a mobile, it just went out of control. They never even attempted to damage control. Or when Rahul Gandhi is snapping at them, as the reporters, there's no attempt being made to damage control. I still remember earlier times that Ahmed Patel or someone else or Arambika Soni, they would call up and they would reach out to the reporter, don't feel bad, we are sorry. Abhi, they don't even do it. It's like you're to blame for what is happening in the country. The reporters to blame.
Pallavi, I'm
If
just
and
don't mind me saying this, but why do you think this change to happen? Is it because those leaders are not there, or is it because Camp Rahul does not believe that they are wrong?
both those leaders are not there, and even the ones who are there now don't want to speak out much. Camp Rahul thinks that media is the enemy. And therefore, just let's treat them the way they are. Look at it this way. Rahul Gandhi's interviews have been increasingly the last 2, 3 times only to YouTubers. We are told that even for elections, he's going to give it to YouTubers because wahan pe they run the whole thing. They let him speak their mind. And we people don't even deserve to, kind of get interviews from him, and so he doesn't want to give interviews to us. So Camp Rahul actually thinks that media is the enemy. They don't want to talk to us. They take pot shots. I mean, I rarely notice the notifications, but kuch bhi likho. If you write good morning na, उस पे भी उनको negative comment देना, and some of them are not funny, some of them are not nice. I mean, I used to be told a lot by the BJP also, but yes, some of them are very petty. But here I don't know. I mean, it's like they choose their sides. I mean, someone just asked, why isn't anyone asked Rahul Gandhi about Sandesh Khali? We did. And we were accused of diverting attention. So, kya karoge aap agle baar?
See, that
Someone did
is,
ask a genuine question at the president.
And
I
that's
was,
I mean,
appalling.
just very quickly, someone did ask at the recent press conference that didn't the CM of Himachal Pradesh know that there's going to be cross voting? And thank God Sonia Gandhi did not contest from there, because if she had, then maybe she would have she would have been defeated. Immediately, that reporter was shamed. What do you do? I'm very honest. I know
true.
I'm going to be trolled and said, "Oh, so very good. You don't go and you're not going for press conferences. You don't want you to enter." But I'm very wary of going for some of the press conferences, particularly of Rahul Gandhi, because I don't know, yeah, what he says in front of 20 people. Yeah, itne saal se I've been covering the party. I mean, you disagree with me, you don't like me, it's fine. You think I'm Godi, it's fine. But you cannot trash me like, oh, who has sent you here? Are you so and so's agent? Have you been sent by the BJP to ask you this question? That's what has changed.
And that is where is the question. I mean, even Ajita would like to let's if we can just discuss this as well. The best part is that they want you to cover each and every aspect of what they are doing. They want you to understand the nuances and the concept behind their actions, support them, justify them. But at the same time, they don't want any questions to be asked ever, not even privately. Forget anything on a public platform. Even privately, if you ask them any question as to why so and so has happened, earlier the leaders used to even accept the fact that, okay, maybe the top leadership is disconnected from reality. They are unable to understand the real sense of what's happening. And a lot of us would have actually told them, don't they read the newspapers? But fact of the matter is that today it seems that they want everything from you, but you're still the enemy. So why are we the enemy, Pallavi?
See, if I may come in here, Pallavi, and both of you can correct me if I'm wrong, what I've picked up, their angst against a lot of the traditional media, old media establishment is there is a feeling that we have nurtured you all for a long time. We have looked after you. We have been this, and today in our bad times or times of distress, you guys are not siding with us. You have crossed over, or they perceive that you've crossed over. So there is this whole angst, and they don't have the maturity or that magnanimity, if you were to call it, of an Ahmed Patel, etc., who might think that, okay, these things happen. So there is this whole coterie who think that they've earlier cultivated these people and they've suddenly, ditched them. So there is a lot of bitterness and angst coming from that. And this is this whole handful of people who have been, who were earlier, when you were drafted to be part of that communications team or PR team, you had everybody eating out of your palm because of whatever your goodies you're distributing or anything. Now, today they have been drafted and they're suddenly finding the clout very different than what it was, say, in 2004 or in 2000, in 2009. So that's changed, and suddenly, you suddenly, it's like almost, I'll tell you, I'm a salesperson, and we face this. A lot of people, I see them happening. They join one company, which is the market leader. From there, they get a big salary increase or something and join a smaller company. And then they go back to the same dealer shop, and where they find earlier they were treated as VIP, sit down, आइए चाय पियेंगे, ठंडा या garam, etc. Now they come, they're kind of made to wait till they finish up with the other thing. And so they're getting that taste. And these people go through a major, I find identity crisis at that time. Till yesterday, you came, you were treated as a VIP, being the representative of company A, and now you're coming and they almost treat you like a stranger. So these people are having that sort of a withdrawal symptoms over there, and therefore they get bitter. But the point, Anand, I have, without belaboring, getting there, forget just the Bharat Jodo Yatra thing. Uh, Somebody has to take on Jyotiraditya Scindia in Guna. Who should be speaking about it? It should be, to my mind, a Madhya Pradesh leader. Whether if it's even if it's not Kamal Nath, it should be their new state secretary or the other. Instead, who is taking pot shots at Scindia? It is Jairam Ramesh, and making statement like he will lose this time like he lost in 2019. At 2019, he fought as a Congress candidate and he lost. And we're saying he'll lose this 2019. And is he the person? And see the contempt in his voice. And, the whole thing talking, and that is what comes out, that arrogance, that sense of entitlement which comes there. As if even these people who are asking them questions, uh, they're behaving not just as if they're in power, but somebody who's always been there, and anybody else there. Okay, today it's just a minor aberration. You're speaking from that sense of arrogance and entitlement, which is amazing in this situation. BJP maybe have far greater reason to
Uh,
be arrogant today, but at least on the optics, when they speak to this thing, at least before camera, they don't speak to the press or media or anybody in that kind of a rude manner. So they can have every reason to be feeling much more upbeat than at least Congress is in most places.
Sandeep, isn't, and Ajay also, isn't this like sort of cross messaging also from them? Because on one hand, you're saying Mohabbat ki dukan, and then on the other hand, you're going after the little guy, because the guy who's coming to your rally and sticking a mic out at you is really at not very high up in the chain of command. He's following instructions. So when you attack him, uh, how does that make you look? It makes you look like a big bully with a mic. And here you're saying Mohabbat ki dukaan.
See, before Ajay comes in, I think the
Yes.
biggest problem, Advaita, today is they are speaking to a very limited echo chamber audience. And those are the people who are clapping and they're thinking it's a real strategy would be how do you convert people who are either fence sitters or who are disenchanted on the opposite camp? There is no such attempt. They're speaking to that small group and they're getting kudos from there, and they're thinking that, okay, my job is done. They go to Cambridge, and Shruti Kapila is very happy to host him, and they think that's a fabulous job. And if not today, Rahul Gandhi will become prime minister someday, and they're happy about it. So it is, I think, this is a huge denial of reality. They're totally
And
distant.
yeah, and Ajay,
Yeah.
in an era, and in an era of virality. These videos are going viral, but they're going viral for the wrong reason. They're going viral
So,
because they're showing a certain arrogance and entitlement, and also somebody who's losing the plot a little bit, who's not in control of his emotions and his anger, especially. And that's not what you want in leadership.
see, it is very difficult to understand as to what is it that is being projected. As Sandeep rightly said, have you seen any attempt since 2019 Lok Sabha loss that the Congress faced, where the Congress ever came out with a narrative which can be owned by the Congress party, which can be owned by the leaders, and presents a vision of India which Congress believes is true? There is just one fact which is being reinforced again and again, that everything that the Prime Minister Modi, or for that matter, anybody else is doing within the BJP or the government is completely destructive, destroying the country, and the country is on the path of destruction. People should understand this, and if they want to protect the country, they should vote for the Congress. See, negative sentiments can help people feel the disenchantment, but that disenchantment is also not really coming through. So the Congress does not have any narrative, any story to tell. When in the absence of any story to tell, what are you trying to emphasize? You're trying to project a leader who is unable to even communicate to his own party members. Look at the way you are talking to the journalists. Let's now just focus at that, because that's what we are discussing today. If you are targeting a reporter who's coming to cover your press conference or your meetings, if you have the gumption and if you have the conviction within yourself, pick up the damn phone and talk to the owner, rather than point out who's the owner of your channel, who is it that you're working for. Don't you know? Don't your people know? These are the very same people with whom once your party leaders used to interact so effectively. If you feel that you are being completely sidelined, you're not being projected, you're not being given the media space, have the gumption to talk to them. Why don't you do that? Obviously, you don't, because you know that this is how things have happened. Has the Congress not seen what it is when there is a government which is not pro Congress? Let's talk about the Vajpayee era. When the Vajpayee government was in power, did all the beat reporters of Congress get beaten up day in and day out the way they are now being beaten up virtually by the Congress party? That at that point of time, it was said that the entire press is again being hijacked by the Bharatiya Janata Party and the Prime Minister. There is so much of love and affection and adulation for Prime Minister Vajpayee. There is saffronization of the entire news coverage. It was blamed then also. But what happened thereafter? Then 10 years, Manmohan Singh's government was there. The Congress was in power. Could they manage the press even at that point of time? Let me just reflect back to you. In 2011, when Anna Andolan happened, in the month of April, at Jantar Mantar for 3 days, there were absolute chaos. Everybody was talking against the Congress, the policies of Congress, the corruption matters, and pointing it out blatantly on their faces. Was there any effort by the Congress to manage it? No. So there is a continuous trend that you see post 2009, where the Congress stopped caring for the kind of coverage that they were getting, because they thought that they can command and demand for the same. And this sense of entitlement is now being exhibited at all levels. And the best part is the BJP does not leave it at that. They pick up at each and every of such opportunity, and they put it out in the media and on the social media various platforms. You find them where the entitlement is being shown and pointed out, and people are being made aware that look at these people, इनके खून में जमींदारी है, ये जमींदारी छोड़ेंगे नहीं, और इसीलिए they are dynasts, they are परिवारवाद. That is the basic thought, and the Congress is losing the plot of its own. So is there anyone else to blame for it except for the planners of the Congress party? Obviously, there are so many people who keep commenting that communists have taken over the Congress party. When did the communists not have a sway in the Congress party? Let's look at since 1947 till Indira Gandhi and thereafter furthermore. The leftists have always had a kind of a sway with the Congress party. The Congress party has always been slightly left of the center. It is a known political stand that the Congress party has had. But to completely disconnect yourself from the heartland, Hindu heartland of India, the 10 majority states that give you something more than 250, 270 Lok Sabha seats, you cannot then become a national party. They are not even accepted as a South
And
Indian party today.
you can't even make like flippant statements like you go to Kashi and you say, I saw young people drunk on the roads, and this is what is going to happen. You're going to stay hungry, and Modi will make you say Jai Shri Ram. I mean, these are just statements that sound, I'm sorry, they come from the very toxic leftist uh, textbook. And those of us who have followed the left and its tactics, I have, know that this comes from a very deep seated antagonism towards, in the Indian context, towards the Hindu faith, the majority faith. And these are the kind of flippant sounding, allegedly flippant sounding statements that come from a space of a lot of hate.
It has been there. And I was at a university yesterday, and we were interacting with students. And I was just saying that in our days of the so-called youth, we were also fascinated by the ideologies of the left. But within a year or two of your understanding and seeing the operations of the left, you realize that it was a huge sham put out on the youth, because you indulged into a lot of romanticism and ingrained this sensibility of left ideology and communism into it, a kind of a socially just, equitable society. It is a good goal to achieve, but is it humanly possible? And then the kind of toxicity that you're just talking about, in the days of us when I was in JNU, it was the campus was divided into two halves. Then the people who followed the right ideology were marginal few, and those who ever stood up against the leftist thought process, people like me, were boycotted like nobody's business. You're completely thrown out. You're something who's an unwanted element in the campus, a campus where there is a free flow of ideas. So this toxicity cannot really lead you anywhere. And the best part is, Mr. Gandhi wants to tell the rest of India that I'm talking rest of India in the sense because now the Congress has made it very clear. India is divided into two halves. South is far better than North. The Congress has completely established this division, something which never existed. So if the North is so utterly disgusting, why don't they try and find their space in South India? Do they stand a chance anywhere? Do they stand a chance in Tamil Nadu? In Kerala, how many seats can they ever marginally even gain? Karnataka, they're losing the plot like nobody's business.
And Himachal, I mean, what happened this week, this past week in Himachal, and Pallavi also can, sort of come in on this one. Pallavi, I mean, that is clearly a very, very shaky ship right now. And tomorrow, if that government falls, they'll again start off Operation Lotus, Operation this, Operation that. But bottom line is, it's so obvious that as every other state, there are two camps in that state as well who are going to go at each other because they obviously feel like nothing's happening at the center for another 5 years. So what we can get out of the state, we have to go for it. Otherwise, we just write off this time. I think Sandeep can take that because Pallavi's internet is a little off.
Pallavi is back.
I think I just got your question right. See,
No, I think Sandeep, go ahead. Yeah.
See,
but the fact is that, and it's not that or at the central level, people didn't know that there is going to be a problem of cross voting. And I think that's the main reason why it was decided that, Sonia Gandhi is going to be contesting from Rajasthan and she will not be doing it from Himachal. My point is, what did you do about it? Why is it that you're not able to reach out to those 6 MLAs or the possibility of more MLAs and tell them that, listen, just don't cross vote? And then if we question this, and that's when his comment came in, when we question this is, we are accused of, segregation, targeting the party and speaking language of BJP. So the question is,
It's a really bad connection,
talk
Pallavi. I
about
think
it.
you'll have to come back,
So
and I think we should have you back because you were not able to hear you very well. Sandeep, please come in on this.
See, these are, Congress, there are a lot of these, uh, what's happened in Himachal and what they did in terms of firefighting, which is being seen by people as a great achievement of Shiv Kumar and Rajiv Shukla and saying they are the answers to Amit Shah. Even today, I think there was this court judgment, and there is again a lot of social media stuff saying that DK Shiv Kumar is the future. He is the one who is the answer, just like they were talking about Bhupesh Baghel till some time back. But what you're missing is there is not one, you don't see a coordinated activity which is happening anywhere. You will have this sort of thing happening, and then Pallavi Ghosh, one of our moods, will tweet out saying, "Here again, Priyanka Gandhi came to rescue the Congress." Okay, fine. Let her rescue it one day, and what will she say tomorrow when the thing again falls? So these are, today
But
it's.
to, but no, no, but to be fair, Sandeep,
I was
she
provoking
did,
you.
na?
Okay, fine. Good,
She
good,
did
good.
rescue, nahi, but she was the one who firefighting. This is something which the party should have been.
Say,
Ajay, I didn't know you were in JNU. Which school
okay.
were you in?
School of
Are
Political Science, batch of 91. I did my MPhil.
Pallavi, you digress. As it is, you've got a bad connection, and then you get into these questions about. You can call in for T2 IWPC and ask them these questions rather than
Yeah,
take up precious time on the TSC.
yeah.
About, next you're going to ask who was your girlfriend in
I
1991
mean,
and
Sandeep,
all.
we have to be fair.
Now your thing is also going. Advaita. So the point is, if one saw certain action, uh, BJP also gets into these kind of obviously crisis situation, crisis management.
I don't know if
Then
you all noticed
you
today.
so there, I think a lot of us are speaking at cross purposes. So BJP also, gets into this thing. You see there is a high sort of a central war room command. Then they send the firefighters to different places to diffuse the situation and the rest of it. Here it's very okay. Assuming Pallavi's theory also fine. Priyanka Gandhi may have picked up the phone and told Rajiv Shukla, "अच्छा जाइए राजीव जी आप जाके वो solve कर लो." तो Rajiv ji would have gone and done his bit. But that doesn't, that's not how an organization operates. Certainly not an organization of Congress's vintage, size, tradition, and the rest of it. So today, they're not even acting as coherently as what a regional party would do in such situations. But I don't see why their act is so badly unraveling the closer we get to the election. And that's where you said, Advaita, to begin with, and I think probably we should close the show, whether there is this whole sense of, giving up and therefore disarray and uh, just like people happen, when they've known they've lost the match, the players are dispirited, demoralized, each one shooting the ball in different direction. That's what's really seemed to be going on just now. And
Definitely, Sandeep. That's something which is very scary also, because if you do not have a party or an opposition which can even come up with any alternate thought process for the franchise, what do you do? I mean, it is a very tough situation that we face today. I mean, 2024 seems to be an absolutely one-sided match. It's
It's not a
like
one side. Yeah, it is one sided. It was, where I, again, an uneducated guess, it seems like, the typical thing that somebody had given you a question paper and or given you, prepared you with certain things. A script was written for them
Mm,
by whosoever was the consultant or other people. Now, suddenly, when that script has gone wrong, even before, earlier they at least had the luxury of after the elections blaming somebody and saying now, even before the elections have come, they
true.
suddenly find that the textbooks they were given that's no longer relevant. The paper is going to be something totally different, and you are either just saddled with that private tutor or coach you had appointed, or you just dump him and then don't know what who to go to. So you're almost prepared to file in a blank answer paper, and therefore you start doodling on it. I don't have the answer, so what do I do? We have done it sometime when you've gone thoroughly I don't know when your days it used to happen when we have gone thoroughly unprepared for a thing. Questions come,
Yeah.
you do some doodling, etc., and submit the paper and walk away. That seems to be the mode at which these people are operating just now.
Honestly, I mean, they seem to have completely given up the fight. I mean, look at this entire Bharat Jodo Nyaya Yatra. It's a flop show from day one, and so many people have talked about the timing and everything else. Didn't Mr. Rahul Gandhi or his coterie of advisors?
Yeah, poultry. And today, somewhere just before coming on the show, somewhere I've seen on Google, one of our very astute journalists has written that apparently there is this new surge within Congress now to project Rahul Gandhi as a prime ministerial candidate. I don't know whom she spoke to, who are these astute people, where she's seeing that groundswell coming from within Congress. One doesn't know. Maybe somebody was asked to write that, and Pallavi may have refused to take that brief. So one of her friends has written this. Pallavi, did you read this? That there is a groundswell now within Congress to project Rahul Gandhi as the PM candidate. Pallavi, we're asking you. No.
I guess her connection is on the real downside. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But anyway, I mean, I think this has been an interesting conversation, and really want to thank our viewers for keeping the faith. On a Tuesday evening at 7 p.m., we have over 1,500 people watching, and that's really heartening. So
Yes.
please do go ahead and like and share and all of those other fun things that you do to keep us motivated. I apologize for the last 2 weeks. I had a family emergency, so I was unable to be online. But we're back now, and we're going into the election season. So be sure there'll be a lot of more conversations and shows and controversies and all those other things that you all love to discuss and chat with us about. And we'll bring those to you. I mean, already, I think they've already handed Prime Minister the Main Bhi Chaukidar of 2024 with Main Bhi Modi Ka Parivar Hu. I mean, these guys like I mean, he's going to win anyway, but now you're making someone who is so popular, so powerful, into a victim, because one feels bad for him the way he's attacked, and on such a personal level. So
That's the best part of
guys,
it. It feels bad that the BJP is winning. It's an organized party, right? It's an organized party. It's going into the
yeah,
elections with 100% preparation. There is a lot of hard work which is going in. But you feel, oh, poor chaps, why are they winning? Why isn't the other person also working? That's
yeah.
that's the irony of this entire situation, and you feel so
No, but
horrible.
It's
but
like,
only the
Ajay, you can.
Congress, Sandeep, only the opposition at this time can create a situation wherein the most popular, the most powerful man in this country comes across as, oh, because we know prime ministers, doesn't have that family per se. He doesn't have the children. He doesn't have that ecosystem around him in the way the Parivar Vadis have. and, and they just give it to him. So, well, what can one say?
It's like, Ajay, the situation is like you have bought the tickets for the World Cup final several months in advance, expecting two teams to be in the final, and it's going to be a real, cracker of a
Newsy.
match.
Yeah.
Then suddenly you find that there is no other team and you can't even sell out those tickets. You bought them for so many months in advance. You can't give it away
I
to
would hate
anybody
that.
else.
I would seriously hate that.
So that's the situation today. A lot of people have invested. नहीं ठीक है इस बार तो होगा दो बार मैच हार गया फिर तीसरा will be third time lucky. You don't know whom to give away those tickets either. So anyway,
There are no
chalo.
buyers.
Chalo, good night. Huh?
Yeah, it
Advaita,
was a
all
Good
the
night,
pleasure.
best for the
everybody, and see you all
for
soon.
association.
Thank you for watching,
Thank you.
Bye.
and
Bye. Bye.
bye for now. See you soon. Thanks, Ajay. Thanks, Sandip.
Bye.
Bye.